3,
2,
2,
1.
Hey. Hello everybody, is we good? This is Trooper Joe. I'm here on ArchAngel A, Return to Chivalry, Wednesday, 3 to 4, on 7 Ave Radio.com, and we're live on Facebook. That's Facebook/ArchAngel A, Return to Chivalry. Well, today is the day after the day that was quite a day. There was a lot of day going on yesterday. But one thing that you know, I think that everybody should have learned from what happened in that day, you either do it right or you do it again. You know? So now we got to do it again. Obviously, in my humble little words, my thoughts, we didn't do it right, folks. But it was hard to do it right. There wasn't a right to be done as far as I could see. Except on a few things. Like the issues, the question 4 got passed. I'm not liking that. I'm not feeling it. I'm gonna have to give it a chance because the people spoke and the people say this is a good thing. I'm not feeling it.
True, can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah. That's Will over there.
Truth of the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yes.
But true, my question is, it said it's for recreational use. Now, does that mean right now I can smoke weed in front of a police officer and not worry about getting arrested?
That should be exactly right. It passed. It's people spoke. The local laws and things haven't been put into place yet now, so I think everything's open. So if you're sitting, going down the streets, having a bone and stuff like that, there's nothing they can do. It's recreational. That seems to me that's the way it talks. But I'm not for that anyways. I don't think that, you know, in your house, okay, I can give you that. If you're sitting in your house chilling and you want to have a nice little smoke a bone and stuff like that with your loved one or just by yourself, then that's fine. But if you jump in your 2,000-pound car and you think that you live in the dream of some kind of James Bond or something, that you're going to drive real fast and be able to control everything, I ain't down with that. Yeah, no, I ain't down with that because now you might hit me, and that's not nice. That's not a nice thing at all, because I'm just an easy-going citizen, and I don't want anybody running into me and ruining my day. So that's one thing I think we should be cautious of, and that's one thing I think, do it right or do it again. So next time it comes up on the ballot, we'll see if we did it right. You know, if you did it right and it seems to be something that works, fine. If you didn't, we got to vote down on it and get it out of here. And the same thing with the school passing. Now, another thing, I'm for the charter schools. I'm for the charter schools, but I'm also for the public schools. I'm conflicted in my thoughts about this. If there's a plan, you know, to make the public schools better, then I'm all for that. You know, this is where we got to go. Because I need little archangels. They got to grow something. They just can't be walking around this planet and smoking a bone. so that's not good. But we don't have a plan for a real plan, not a rhetoric. I'm talking about a plan. We got lots of plans. We even got stories on bad schools and stuff, all kinds of those. But we don't have a plan. We need a real plan to improve the way that the children are being taught, so that the children can be something marketable in the future. The future's coming, folks. The future's coming, and it's going to change. And there is nothing you can do about that. But what you can do is you can arm the kids with knowledge and all those things that are going to go along with making them a success in the future. That's something that's powerful, and that needs to be done. And I don't know, charter schools are not the answer, don't get me wrong, they're not the answer, but I think that just having public schools the same way isn't the answer either. And then it seemed like we even went even sillier with the public school thing. What is the thing I seen here about a school in Somerville that they just passed a bill, $257 million for one school? Come on, man. In Somerville, all you poor people, you can't go there. and it's $58 million more than the brand new school they built in Newton. Oh, sorry again, all you poor people. Can't go there either. But that's okay, because we'll have about $250 million worth of educational system that can't be used by everybody. But we won't have new charter schools because it'll take away from the public school system. Y'all need to get you need to get a little bit more information before you start talking to yourselves and believing everything that you hear, because $250 million seems like a lot of money to me, and it may not be a lot of money to some of y'all, but to me it seemed like a lot of money. And this is just two schools that a whole bunch of people will never have access to. So I'm like, okay, but that's okay. That's okay. Y'all spoke, y'all voted, and y'all voted for Donald Trump. So, what's up with that? Isn't that crazy? I think that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I think there's going to be a lot of people doing much research on just how democracy really needs an enema. You know, it really baffles my mind is how Donald Trump got to be the 45th president of the United States. This really, I just, it's amazing. This speaks to the greatness of this country. You know, you can literally be anything you want to be. One, if you got the money, and two, if you got a song that people want to sing. And that seemed to be what Donald Trump's whole thing was. He had the money, and he had a song that everybody wanted to sing. It was a very negative type of song, but everybody seems to be in a negative frame of mind. They need to start thinking more on the ways of, that's right, ArchAngel. I'll return to chivalry. We need to have that, you know. People need to be thinking about their own power, not the power of the group. I think we had a conversation on that before. I might bring that up again some other time. But people fall into these little herd type of mentalities, and they're not getting all the information that they need, and they're not seeking out the information. They're doing the two things that just got voted in, right? They're smoking a bone, talking on Facebook to a bunch of people who went to public schools that didn't give them enough information to know how to research a subject that they want to understand. So it gets to be pretty sad in that realm. But let's go on now, folks. We're going to talk about charisma. There's three components to charisma, folks. Three components. There's a presence. You have a charismatic presence. There's power, and there's warmth. But we're going to talk about power, because I think that's the best subject for this point in time right now. Power is something that we need to regain out there, because it's a bad world out there, and without power, you're not really playing in the game. You can be talking a whole lot of nonsense, and you can be having riots, and you can be having protest march now, and I mean, that's what happened after Trump got there. Everybody ran out there in a few cities and had protest marches, burning cars, and you know, it's like, are you serious? Like, you know, you really should have protested about who you wanted to get elected, you know, last month, you know. This retrospect type of thing like that. That's all for you. That's all for you. But there's no power there. There's no power. The power I'm talking about is like being perceived as able to affect the world around us. That's power. Yeah? Being perceived as being able to affect the world around us. Just because you can make a lot of noise, nobody's perceiving you as having the power to affect the world. Just because you can do a lot of things that are disruptive to society, nobody's perceiving that you can affect the world. There's no power there. Yeah? There's no influence. You have no influence on authority. All you have is time on your hands to go out there and make some noise. You got rhetoric, you got a platform. Some of the platforms are really powerful too. They have a, you know, they really, you can take it to a lot of places. And there's a lot of people out there, but a lot of people out there making noise and doing stuff that really doesn't have any power behind it. It's just a lot of people out there making noise. And it doesn't go anywhere. It might make those people feel good, and it might give somebody else something to talk about while they're firing up that next bone. You know how they gotta roll that first and then you gotta fire it up? But you know, you can change subjects and talks like that while you're doing that. There's no power in that. Because whether through influence on or authority over others, that's power. That's power. All those marches and stuff, it doesn't affect people's money in making money. You know, it doesn't affect them in that regard. It doesn't give them any expertise in their chosen field, their jobs or any of those things. It doesn't make them smart. There's no physical strength to it. Yeah, and it doesn't, it's not on a higher social status. It's just a lot of people out there making noise who have no power because they can't affect the way the world around us moves. Before they could, they went out there with a plan. They went out there with a seeking a goal. Their strategy was, we're going to accomplish this. Not that we're going to go out there, we're going to vent our anger because something happened that we should have really took care of before, but we didn't take care of it. Now we're stuck with what we got, so we're going to vent our anger. Are you venting at you, or are you venting at somebody else? That's the problem. You know, it's not a problem. That's what we do. That's okay. We can do that. Yeah. Power. People can have power too. You can get power. You can get things done, or at least give the impression of getting things done. That's power. That's what a lot of the people who have power do. They don't get things done by themselves. They give an impression of getting things done. That's a lot different than having the power to really get things done. That's what Donald Trump's main platform was. He gave an impression that he had everybody, he had the people that he targeted his best interest at hand. He did his homework. He sought out a lot of people who had, you know, they had just went through a depression. A lot of people had lost their job that they were working at maybe 15 years or so prior to that, and they were making the good money. Some making more money than they should have been making for that job, and they got complacent. Nobody saw this coming, and when it came, it took them out. So then they went back, and some people redefined themselves and they got jobs, and some people were lucky enough to get other jobs, but they didn't get the money. See, that's where the influence came in. They didn't get the money, they got the job based upon their expertise, so they didn't get the money that they were once making before, because now they were working in the entry-level position. They were just starting again in the position. It ain't going to be starting at the big money you were making. You got to start at the little money that the job is been scaled down for, because that's what the company put into their researches, or what do you call that? Human research place, that they said, well, job X, it's scaled at this amount and this amount. So you coming in, even though you got the experience to be at the far end, you coming in at door number 1. So you get paid door number 1 money. I mean, that's all it is. So these people, they still got to pay for their houses, their cars, and little Johnny's new football suits and all these things to go along with that, and dance school and all these other extra after school activities, and they still have to pay for all that, so they're not very happy. But they are working. Yeah, they are working. So that's where the power. They got power again, but it's not. It's perceived. It's it's not real because it doesn't affect any money. So that's not a very good thing when it comes to trying to have power and making sway over policy and stuff. So you can make your noise out in and some of these people out there making noise in the streets and doing these things, they have no power at all. Some of them are students who's going to schools and very high-end schools, and mom and dad are footing the bill. If mom and dad got the money to foot the bill. If they don't, then they got the loans and things to go along with that, but they're getting through, so I get my hats off to them. That's a good thing. Some of the other ones are just out there protesting because they got anything else to do. Some other ones got a real passion about what they're talking about, but it's like your passion is real, but your passion is so individualized that really you don't have any plan to make any changes because you don't know the power.
True. Can I make a quick statement on that? I think one of the problems is that a lot of people, they want to, you're passionate about what's going on that's wrong with the world, and your passion is so invested in pointing out what's wrong that you don't point out a solution. So you just focus on what's wrong and how the world is bad. But if you don't have a plan to help fix it, then what is your passion is wasted. Do you think it's wasted if you don't have a plan to fix it?
I think it's wasted. I think it's wasted because they distort the plan. It's like, okay, here you got all these freedoms in the Constitution, but I'm gonna focus on freedom of speech. So I'm just gonna go out there and worry about freedom of speech. Well, I'm just gonna focus on freedom of religion. You got all these freedoms that you're using and everything, but you just want to go out there and make a lot of noise on one specific item of all the freedoms that you have, instead of enjoying the freedoms that you have and enhancing the whole package. You just got to use your freedom to go out there and talk about, well, I had no freedom. Okay. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can certainly do that. That's what I think happens a lot of times. But I'm for protest. This is part of the country. You have the right, you have the freedom of speech, you have the right for public assembly, you have the rights to do all these things like that, and that's fine. And you go out there and do these things, but I really do believe that to do these things, you need a plan. You need a direction. You need some place to go. You don't have to have an end goal, but you got to have something to go for. And it might change along the way, and that's fine. That's beautiful, actually. Then it enhances and increases itself. But just to do it with no plan, you ain't doing anything. So survival. I'm talking a little bit about survival here. Does our survival depend upon being followers of the big dog? And the big dog in this case is definitely the political system, the people on Wall Street and all the money, or the protesters of the dog's word. So where does our survival really come into play? Do we follow the big dog? I'm not for following the big dog because I don't think they have that. They have power that's vested in money. And because it's in the money, they have power over people's jobs and then over their livelihood and stuff, but they don't have power over their mind, and they don't have power over their voice. They really don't. And the protesters, this is where they're making the mistake. Just to make noise at the big dog really doesn't matter, because the big dog knows at the end of the day, I still control the money. You got to get that. You got to remember that power has to have money. Power has to have expertise. Power has to have intelligence and physical strength and a high social status, which is kind of an abstract type of thing. High social status, what is that? I don't know. But following the big dog, that's going to get some people someplace, but that's a very small amount of people and stuff, and they don't have any character of their own anyways, because that's what they like to do, is follow the big dog. Protesting the big dog's word, that's another fine thing, but like I've been saying all the way through this thing, you have to have a plan for the protest. You have to have a direction for the protest to go. It has to be mapped out in some way. It doesn't matter whether it's a good map or a bad map, an old map or a brand new map. It has to be some map. You got to go someplace. So I think we now more than ever need cool heads. We need and big ears and a strategy. And I say cool heads, excuse me, because you can't go out there and let somebody undermine your program because one or two people act up the fool. Not the way the media runs today. They're just waiting for somebody to act the fool, and then the only thing they're going to talk about is the fool. So you gotta have cool heads. You gotta have big ears too. And the ears I mean by big ears, you have to be able to know what's going on around you in your environment and where you want to fit in. Because if you want to fit in, it's just like well, we got like 3 new casinos coming around this place in about a year. It's like, how much gambling is there? You know, we got gambling in Twin Rivers. Now we're going to have gambling in Tiverton, and we got gambling over there in Everett, I think it is, or something like that. Like, how many casinos do we need? You know, with a society where everybody's broke. It sounds pretty silly to me, but you know, that's not a good strategy. That's not a good plan. It's a good way to make people feel good if they're one of the lucky few that might win, you know, a few $1,000s or something like that. But that's not going to do anything for it. I think what people need to stop focusing on is their individual power. Yeah? People all have individual power. You still have power over your own choices. No matter what the big dog says or no matter what the protesters are doing, you have power over your own choices. Yeah? And without power, you are at best just a nice person. You know, that's all you're going to do unless you're focusing on your individual person. People will perceive you as a nice person, and that is great, but there's no power. And I'm not advocating or any way saying that you should not be a nice person. I think that you should be a nice person and have individual power. So if you're a nice, ain't nothing but being a nice person, but I'm not going to do that. You know? This is what I need to do because this is what I think is going to work. Not this is what I need to do because you said I'm a nice person, so now I can follow lockstep behind you. That's not a nice person. No, that's not a nice person at all. And then on the other hand, without individual power, you become needy and desperate. You're a victim again. That's what you become without individual power. You're not so you can be a nice person without power, or you can be a victim without power. But to be something other or something better, you need to have individual power. You need to have the power of your own convictions. You need to be able, when people look at you and they put that value mark on you, that they value you for a lot of other reasons than just that you're a nice person. They value you for your perceived intelligence. They might value you for the way you do anything. It doesn't matter. For your money, they might value you on money, on your knowledge, your intellect. But you need to have those people. They value in something like that for the perceived thing you want. And you want them to perceive you as a nice person at the same time. And all this gives you power. And you need to The other two we haven't talked about yet, so I'm kind of in the middle. So we haven't talked about warmth and presence, so it's kind of hard to talk about that with charisma. But we're going to get to that in another session. But you need to have those two, and I'll tell you what those two are some other day, so I know it sounds kind of funny. But a powerful person who lacks the warmth and the lacks presence is not somebody with charisma. And charisma is something that's so powerful that it's hard for anybody to get around it. Charisma is something that everybody perceives about you to be great. You know, that's a charisma. It's kind of like a swagger. And people see you with a swagger and stuff, and they say, oh man, that person really knows what's going on. I want to follow that person because he's got a lot of charisma. And that's where the power that you want to seek for your individual power comes to. You want to have that charisma. You want to have that sway. But you don't want it to be arrogance. And you don't want it to be cold-blooded. Trump got a huge amount of charisma. You know, he targeted a huge amount of people who were like-minded just like him. And they said, yeah, he knows what's going on. That's right. We're going to shine our guns up, and I think I'm going to polish up a few bullets too. What the hell? Because this is a terrible place we live in, and Mexico should pay for that wall. What wall? It's like, oh yeah, go down there and tell Mexico, yeah, here, you got to pay for all this to build a wall. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But he got charisma among those people, obviously, because he got elected. They saw that he's a powerful person, and in them they saw warmth in the presence. But is it real? No, he's on the opposite end of that. He's not a nice person. But he does have that charisma like that among a select few. And that's what we as individuals, each and every one of us needs to assume that kind of individual power, you know, of warmth and presence, which you don't know about yet because I didn't tell you. But I'll tell you about it some other time. So how do we increase our charismatic power? You know? This is we're going to do right after I go to a quick song. How do we our charismatic power? Huh? I know some people say, how do we do that? Yeah, how do we do that? I like to know how to do that. Tell me how to do that. I'm going to tell you how to do that right now. Body language. That's one of the things that we have to do. After the impression that you are always ready, you have a powerful charisma. Here's your body language. Body language and appearance. That's two of the things that you need to increase to have charismatic power. Now, how do we increase our body language? One, you got to boost your confidence. Right? Confidence is everything. Because power has its origin in the mind. That's where your power starts, right up in here, in your head. It's your individual power. It starts here, and then it goes all over the rest of your body, you know? But it has to start in your mind. So, the first thing to charisma is, you have to boost your confidence. And there's a few ways of doing that. Like I said, it has its origin in the mind. And then, if you feel confident and powerful, often other people will see you as being confident and powerful. So there's a perspective just like that. You come out there, you look confident, people say, okay, I'll follow that person right there. He knows what he's doing. You know, whether you know it or not, it doesn't matter. It's a perceived type of projection that comes out there. A lot of people use it. Like Donald Trump, he ain't got an idea what he's doing as far as I can see. But everybody thinks he's going to make the world better for them because they're in such a state that they need somebody to make the world better for them. But if you have confidence within yourself, you can be that person because you have a powerful body image is going to come from your mind down through your body. You're going to be projecting an image of confidence and self-assurance. That's the other way. You got to believe. You got to believe, folks. Not the other people now. You got to believe that people will believe that you have the confidence and the mindset to be able to accomplish what you set out. If you don't believe it, how's anybody else going to believe it?
Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
Someone today said on Facebook that today is November 9th. And they said 11/9. And they said, what happens if you flip it? It's 9/11. This is something, a conspiracy. So they obviously don't believe in themselves like you're saying.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah, you can find many kind of ways to not believe in yourself. I heard a quote, I think I wrote it down. I don't even know where I heard it. Oh, I heard it from on the speech of Hillary Clinton's vice president. And I liked it. He said, they killed us, but they haven't whooped us yet. I like that, you know. That was the most powerful thing I heard in the whole campaigns and stuff like that. You might have killed us, but you haven't whooped us yet. See that? But those few little words, that's confidence and self-assurance right there. Started in the Bible. How you gonna beat that? You can't beat that. You did, but you ain't whooped. It's like, how you gonna beat, you can't beat that, you know. So this is to the degree that you have to think to be able to do these things. Something, a little conspiracy theory about 9/11 is, well, that's all cute. Yeah, but that's about all it is. It's cute. And then you gotta, then you have to arm yourself. Not arm yourself with weapons. Not arm yourself with weapons, folks. Not arm yourself with weapons. You gotta arm yourself with skills and knowledge. To be able to have power, you gotta be good at something. You gotta know what that something is that you're good at. It doesn't matter what it is, because it's all perceived. It's all for you. You're self-assured. You might be good at flipping hamburgers and stuff, but matter of fact, let me tell you a little story that I saw one day. Where was I? I think I was in Utah, and we was just in this little diner, but this guy, the fry cook, was so impressive. He knew exactly every inch of his area. He knew what he was doing. He slapped this on there, and he'd be flipping this with this, both hands going at the same time, eyes looking at that little piece of paper where it tells you what you're supposed to do, things just popping all over the grill, and the food came out great. It was great, folks. He had skill, and he had area knowledge, you know. He knew where he was. He knew what he was doing, and he took pride in what he was doing. Now, he was self-assured with himself. He wasn't going to make a mistake. It wasn't going to be an extra fry on this plate or less on that. He had it down to a science. I mean, and that's because the passion that he felt about himself, you know, it just came out just like that. That was power. That's a powerful individual. You can measure it against anything you want to, against a big number. That's a powerful individual. You can't do that. You might, I don't know, but I don't think you can. So make you someone with resources and someone with enough presence to good deep in the subject. Boy, who wrote this? Must have been my secretary. So expertise and knowledge in what you do will boost your confidence. That's exactly what it's coming down to. I must have been watching something on TV or something when I wrote that down, 'cause that doesn't even make sense to me, but the end does. If you got expertise in what you're doing, just like that fry cook, that'll boost your knowledge. So that's what we're going to do. Right now, folks, yes, it is time. It is time. Yeah, that's right, Aesop's Fable.
Aesop's Fable.
There it is.
Yes.
There it is right there, folks. See, this is helping me learn how to read, so that's why you have to stay there. And I think this one here is pretty good for what's going on today, right? It's the ass and his purchaser. And the ass is a donkey, folks. I know. A lot of you people never even seen a donkey. It's the little guy with the cross on it that Jesus rode into and they put the palms down. That's an ass. Okay. A man who wanted to buy an ass went to the market and coming across a likely looking beast, arranged with the owner that he should be allowed to take him home on trial to see what he was like. When he reached home, he put him into the stable along with the other asses. The newcomer took a look around and immediately went over and chose a place near the laziest and greediest beast in the stable. When the master saw this, he put a halter on him at once and led him off and handed him over to his owner again. The latter was a good deal surprised to see him back so soon and said, why do you mean to say you have tested him already? I don't want to put him through any more tests, replied the other. I could see that what sort of beast he is from the company he chose for himself. See, this is about a man is known by the company he keeps. So, again, with self-confidence, skills, and expertise, if you want to be known as somebody who has these type of traits, somebody your individual power is increased, you want to keep company with people that's going to be like you, people that's going to have value in their skills and value in their expertise and stuff. You don't want to be hanging around just with a bunch of people who can make a lot of noise and not doing anything because they don't know what they're doing, they're just making noise. That's not going to be pretty good for boosting your individual power. Just like the donkey, you get sent back. You know, like, yeah, you just want to go hang out with old greedy and lazy over there. He's not going to do anything. He's going to be trouble down the lane, you know. And that's where it gets. And now we're going to move on to the next part is intelligence, right? And it's more than just intelligence of expertise and intelligence when it comes to skills and value. You want to know a little bit about a lot of stuff. Now, you don't have to know it in depth, but you should be able to have a conversation about a lot of things. Some things may not even seem relevant to you, but they're good to know about. You never know when something like that's going to come into a conversation, and it's going to make you look as though you're very competent and a person that takes a great interest within themselves. So it's self-assuring and stuff. So that's what you want. You want to have some knowledge about a lot of things. So intelligence is a key part of being able to affect the world. You know, you have to know something that's going on socially and politically. So how do you do this? It's not hard, folks. You got to read. Read. That's what you got to do. Read everything. Every chance you get. Just read something. Who knows? You might find it to be interesting. You never know. It doesn't have to be studying and trying to put down some great theological type of nonsense on a piece of paper that nobody's going to read, but just read everything, you know, so that you get a knowledge, you get an understanding, and you'll enjoy it anyway. So do that. That's another thing, is intelligent. Now I got another story I'm going to read to you too. It's a short one. Alright? This is a short story before I go on to this next subject. Alright? From the book, that's right, we're still in the book. The Kingdom of the Lion. Right? The Kingdom of the Lion. When the lion reigned over the beasts of the earth, he was never cruel or tyrannical, but as gentle and just as a king ought to be. During his reign, he called a great assembly of the beasts and drew up a code of laws under which all were to live in perfect equality and harmony. The wolf and the lamb, the tiger and the sage, the leopard and the kid, the dog and the hare, all should dwell side by side in unbroken peace and friendship. This was the lion's rules. The hare said, "Oh, how I have longed for this day when the weak take their place without fear by the side of the strong." Right? That's what we're waiting for today, folks. We're still waiting for some lion to come around and make rule to say that this is what I want to be. Everybody gets along and it's going to be a peaceful world. And we make joke of that with the beauty contests and stuff. But then we go back and we curl up in our little comfort zones, in our little homemade environments. And that's where we put our mind. We don't say, oh, if everybody could just get along together, it would be a nicer place. But we say everything around that. We use lots of metaphors, lots of similes. We trying to find words all over the place to just say that, well, if everybody gets along, it'll be a better place. This is true, but it ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Not without individual power. Not unless you're able to have that power within yourself to be confident and self-assured in yourself to make it that yeah, I'm going to be friends to this person. You know, I'm going to be a friend to that person. That's all on you. You know, that's your power. Now I'm going to go quickly into becoming physically fit because we're running out of time. Because I know you're waiting for physical fitness to come in. Your body shape is one of the first things people measure your level of power by. You know, that's how they see you. It's not in the clothes you wear. Everybody thinks it's how you dress. So if you're wearing a $2,000 suit as a man, you're looking good. You know, not if that suit don't fit. You know, the suit don't fit, you ain't looking that good. Because everybody on this planet, every human on this planet has a primary part of the brain. Something that's ancestral to when we were nothing but little itty bitty naked things running around in the Saharas. You know, that's part of the brain. You know, and from that part of the brain, that signals us that strength and an ability to dominate and protect. Everybody needs to have that perceived notion that they're strong and that they can protect their loved ones. Everybody talks about that. We've let it go so much that it's affected our physical fitness level. Like, I can protect my loved ones with an automatic AR-15. From who? You don't need that much protection, folks. If you're just physically strong, you look strong, you feel strong, this will enhance your self-confidence, this will help enhance your self-assurance, this will enhance your individual power just by you being physically fit and physically strong. You don't need AR-15s, you don't need 9mm, you don't need all those things like that. Because with those, you don't need to be physically fit. Now you're not physically fit, so you can go ahead and you can look like anything you want to be, and you can be all upset with yourself and nobody perceives you as somebody as having any kind of power. Because you don't have it, you didn't demonstrate any kind of ability to be able to take on the stresses and the hard work that comes with being physically fit. That's all the part of it too. And then even you can't dress for power because you let yourself go that you're out of shape. You might not be physically, you might not be heavily overweight or something like that, but you might be bent over because your back hurts. You might, all your time you get, that really, I got a pain, I must have slept wrong. You didn't sleep wrong, your body's just so out of shape that you can't sleep at all. So get in shape, folks. Get in shape. If you want some personal individual power, at least start with two things. Start getting in shape and start reading. You can read about getting in shape. If you want to, you can put them together. It's all up to you. That's all the power that's like that. Now I'm going to skip down to something because I found it very, and then I'm going to come back if I got a minute. Yeah. becoming familiar with your environment. Powerful people, individual power and everything is something that you become familiar with your environment too. I don't know if any of you people have ever watched Poirot movies. And he's a little Belgian detective. He's kind of on the sweet side. He just walks and stuff, and he's a funny guy. But his power comes in because he controls his environment. He comes into any place he comes into, and he straightens things so they're all uniformed and in a line. Ain't his house, but this is what he does. And by that, he controls the environment. You know, you might put everything all over the place like this or like that, and then you straighten it. And this is a little trick that you can use to control an environment if you people are in a business meeting or something like that. Say a luncheon business meeting. So you go to the lunch and stuff like that. You could be the one who takes control with the power by moving the salt shaker and the pepper shaker out the way. By taking the glass of water that you don't want because you want to have something else to drink and giving it to the waste. I don't want this. You controlled your environment. You made that table comfortable for you. No? And then there's other ways to control your environment. You can spread out in a chair like a Klingon. You know? That's controlling your environment. You can sit sideways in a chair. You're controlling your environment. Yeah? People, you think that it will be, well, that's rude and arrogant and everything. No, this is what people in power perceive as power. So if you want to perceive people to perceive you as having power, and you're with a bunch of people who have power, you have to display power. So this is how they subconsciously expect these things to happen. I'm just giving you a heads up that this is what people do. Watch it when you're out with people who, people who really have power. They dominate their environment. They dominate their environment by, like I said, moving things, putting them where they want them. You know, whatever it be, something as small and innocuous as a salt and pepper shaker. Or they do big grandiose things like sitting sideways in a chair and spreading out their legs like a Klingon. You know, they control that environment. And that's what a lot of powerful people do. And this is what you can do too, to assume that power. Now with that power, you'll be able to get your point across to a lot more people than just having a little rally or a little some kind of protest out there where you're yelling and screaming and making a lot of noise. You can control that environment from backstage simply by being the one who sets the strategy and the tactics. You're the one who set the plan. You put the plan in motion. Alright, folks? I didn't get to what I really wanted to talk about too much because sometimes the time just goes too fast and that's how it happens. But I'm going to revisit this next week and bring in presents, and I'm going to bring in warmth because I think you'll enjoy those. And then you can see how this power and these three all come together to make you a person with a lot of charisma. Somebody, when you walk into a room, people look at you and say, oh, that's not, what's his name? That's Stupid Joe, you know, because you have charisma and you have that type of power. And I want everybody to have that so that we can do it right or do it again. You know, I will give you some clues how to do it again because obviously in the presidential election, at least from where I'm standing, we didn't do it right. You know, he doesn't have any magic bullets or any of those things like that. Well, I gotta go. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for listening to ArchAngel A Return to Chivalry on 7averadio.com and on Facebook Live, ArchAngel A Return to Chivalry. And I'll see you again next week and everything. Hi, this is Trooper Joe from ArchAngel A Return to Chivalry. And you can catch my show on 7averadio.com every Wednesday from we the poor. Thank you.
VOV 91.3. Voices of Voiceless, we in the house. I'm Nate Peter Ghost, Barack King X, Kuta Kente, 1 foot off.
Same Mike, Michael J. Thriller, Mike Talk a Lot, Nego Spiritual, Beautiful Mind, Jesus Crack, Mike Camera Action in the building.
What's going on? VOV, Voice of the Voiceless. It's your man Keith Report, aka Sir Lord Keys the Thought, aka Keys to Life, the one-man team.
And I'm Trooper Joe, and I'm here to keep it real for you.
Tune in to Voice of the Voiceless every Tuesday, 12 to 1.
All right.